Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us at Toy Fair University. Up next, we have Inside Kids' Worlds, What Shapes Their Lives, Choices, and Play, with Philippe Guinaudeau from Brand Trends. Philippe?
Thank you, Anne. So I've got a tough job today. I've got to show you numbers. And I'm a typical market researcher, so that means that there are plenty of numbers. I try to make them very light, but unfortunately, I mean, some would be a little bit heavy. 2 points. First, I apologize for my typical French accent. I'll try to do my best, but it's the end of the day, time difference. I can't promise anything. Second, that presentation is just an extract of what's going to be further presented at the Toy Association webinar in 1 month, where you will have plenty of many more results, charts, graphs, and trends, covering all the trends, including collections, including pocket money. I mean, we've got a little bit of that, but we can't go in 40 minutes. So, without further ado, I'm going to start. But I just want you to imagine, or not to imagine, just clean your brain and just forget one question, which is the question that everybody usually asks. How much time do kids spend in front of screens? I mean, that's the typical question that everybody asks. They spend a lot of time in front of screens. How much time do they spend? Sounds like a right question, normally. But it's not. It's definitely not, and I hope that at the end of this presentation you will be as convinced as me that in fact this is the wrong question to ask. There are additional questions, and if you better understand the questions to ask and the reasons why this is not the right question, then you can move forward with your businesses and make great successes. Why it's not the right question? It's not the right question because it assumes that the screens are the problem. The problem of the toy, the problem of video games, the problem of attention. But what if they were not the problem? What, in fact, the screens were filling the spaces, or sometimes, or some moments, just breaking the word. What if they were doing that instead of just driving the lives of the children? What if the childhood itself has been reorganized? Time has shortened, moments are fragmented, and attention has been redistributed. So it's true that everything we think about what we know about play, brands, media, and licensing needs to be examined, revisited, if this assertion is correct. And so the illusion of understanding is probably the wrong analysis. So let me start with something uncomfortable. We think we understand kids. We are in the business of kids. We think we understand the kids. We track impressions, we analyze clicks, we optimize contents, we track followers. But what we mostly understand is in fact the media mechanic. We understand the way it works. We don't understand the reason why they go on that place. They stick to the screen in first place. So we don't understand the childhood. We understand the mechanics. And when you optimize a media without understanding the childhood, basically you optimize the wrong thing. The real challenge is not really the screen time, but the structure of the childhood. Everyone talks about the screen time. It's convenient because it's the villain. But children today live inside more than something like 3 hours and 24 minutes per day, in average, 3 to 14 years old in the US, of digital daily exposure as the main activity. Very important main activity, because that means that when they do other activities, they also multitask. That's something that they can do. I mean, I used to say that they can do their homeworks while listening to the music, exchanging with friends, and watching the TV. Wow, I was not able to do it. So the real challenge is not the screen time, but it's the structure of childhood. They spend 3 hours and 24 minutes each day exposed to screens, audio, digital content, and this is not the choice, their choice. It's not a choice. it's their environment. So it's just one of the tables. Just that there will be plenty of those later, and in the webinar. But I just want to say that digital entertainment is just a small part of their day. It's the infrastructure. So what I want you to meet, so I like him. It's always the name I gave him. But I want you to meet Peter. Hop, where is he? He's there. He's there, sorry. I forgot in my... Peter is there. He's a 9 years old American boy. And his life is already extremely full. Not because he's overstimulated, not because he's addicted to screens, but because childhood itself is now very dense, structured, fragmented. So I will try to show you in the next few slides how his life is. And ultimately, after a few slides, the bonus is I will show you the vision of his day. Scary. So the story is not really about the screens, but it's about time, how the time is structured, how the time is fragmented, and how childhood itself has been reorganized. So he's not overwhelmed in terms of dense activities. Actually, he's scheduled. He has a packed schedule. American kids are not like South Korean kids yet, but it's going in that direction. And you've got timing and monitoring the time, and everything that follows start from that point. First, before he had a mobile phone, or before our kids had mobile phones, let's get back to 2005, 2010, for those willing. Life was a big continuity. Now, almost 43% of the American kids have experienced parental separation. So it doesn't seem like a major revolution. Okay, 2 homes, 2 routines, 2 play systems, obviously 2 brand negotiations, and try to have some more. So it's good for consumption at some point, but actually, I mean, it's breaking down the continuity and what was making really the day. And so he's got brothers and sisters, half brothers and sisters on both sides. And if you look at, in 2024, married parents were representing 65% in the US, and solo moms or solo dads or cohabiting parents, they were making the remaining third. And within the 65% of the married parents, you had remarried parents. And just imagine, physically, he has to go to his father. So he leaves, takes the car. What he does in the car? Nothing. He has to wait. When that was our time, no mobile phones, was waiting. Was boring parents or mothers or fathers with stories. It's a wasted time. Just to let you imagine only that point. So the childhood used to be built around long and uninterrupted blocks of times. Today, it's built around transitions. You transition from home to the second home, to school, to sports. So it's really about continuity and transitions that creates waiting time. What do you do during waiting times? So transitions that also create something that we tend to forget, especially in marketing when we like the consumption. It's emotional adjustment time. If my kids are leaving me, I would feel very good if they feel bad leaving me. But if they feel bad leaving me, that means that they are not in the right state of mind to do some activity, even if they do an activity on the screen, or even if they play. And so you have to understand the consequences of that. When they have to have different routines, they break their blocks in their time in mini blocks, mini moments, but at the same time, the emotion, the level of attention, the focus is not the same as previously. And no, I don't want my kids to be in a bad state of mind. But I mean, you see the point. You see what I want to do. Okay, another point and I'm just going to fly over, and you can dig into the analysis a little bit further to really understand that it's society that has created that. It's not the screens. His morning already includes media. When he woke up at 7:42 this morning, actually because this morning, even if that's President's Day, he was going to school. In my example, sorry, I'm French. So Peter is already exposed to digital before going to school. 63%, sorry, 63% of American children are exposed to media, digital media, before going to school, and they are exposed for about, in average, 48 minutes. And this is not addiction. This is not because he wants it. I mean, he wakes up, and there's the television on the background. There's a mobile phone ringing. There's the radio on the bathroom. So he's already receiving all these media. He has not chosen. It's basically, I mean, it's already including these media 48 minutes before he starts school. He's in a good state of mind to start studying. Okay. Studying, it's also an example, so don't take that to the world. Okay, I selected Montessori, but we can select all the other alternative ways of education. In the past 30 years, what happened in the US, but it happened also in many, many developed countries, where education became very important. We pushed our kids to go to the university. Who's going to bake my bread? Who's going to build my house? Nobody cares about that. But at the end of the day, we push our kids to study. And if we push them to study, then education becomes a project that becomes an objective for the parents. So that's pressure on the kids. So, okay, when he does that, what type of state of mind he will be when he will be on the screen, or when he will be playing, or when he will be doing other things. So, in the past 30 years, Montessori schools in the US reached something like 5,000 schools, Montessori, but you've got all the alternatives way of education. You've got all the other ways. So we're representing a certain number of millions of kids having a project of education by the parents. And their parents also push towards educational toys, toward educational side in the present, whether it's toys, video games, or whatever, or even a video. So at the end of the day, education, it's no longer a default, it's really intentional. It's a project by the parents. And you can think about all these different variations of education. And so already his attention, you see, he goes from one place to another place, then he goes to school. With the education goes the sport as well. So sport activities, extra private lessons, homeworks, and all of that. At the end of the day, he's got a very, very small attention focused on spare time, free time, available mind time that he has for himself, because all the rest he's taking his time. So we have some studies, including ours, but also Google and TikTok, saying that per day, in average, we've got about 30 minutes of real available time for the kids. So I won't fight if you tell me it's 1 hour. I'm fine with that. What I just want to say is he has little time. And because he has little time, the consequence is that if you, as brands, you want to enter in his world, you've got very, very little time. So you must hit spot on. That's already a first element. Okay, social media. It's a big, big topic. Just have a couple of slides, but it's a big topic. The teenagers, American teenagers, use the social media to connect. They don't go on social media to consume. They don't go on social media to consume even content. They get the content created by the algorithm or provided by the algorithm coming to them, but they don't go specifically for them. So they enter there for relational maintenance. And you see, keeping in touch with friends and family, 57%. Look at the fourth item, feeling spare time, So he's got that. He knows already. And his parents also know, because when you drive a 5 years old or 6 years old kid from point A to point B, and they have nothing to do, and and they are tired and they are hungry and so on, I mean, they can make some noise. And so because of that, you give them some screens. It keeps them busy. In research, we call that the nanny effect. It keeps them. But that's the number 4, 26%. The good news is that he's not going to social media to consume, but he can follow recommendations on social media. So because of that, he has initiated a relationship that allows to follow the recommendation if some influencers or some content creators suggest or recommend a product or going to some places, then he would probably consume. Yes, several times, 76%, and then the remaining once only, 11%. So massively, he would consume. And also massively, he would be happy with its consumption. He would be satisfied. So social media, he doesn't go to social media to consume, but if he's got the right recommendation, at the right moment, at the right state of mind, and so on, he might be able to push to purchase. That comes with trust, because he trusts the social influencer or the content creator, or his friends. Because he trusts, then he will push to consume. Trust is important later in the presentation. Advertising does not compete with the content itself, despite the fact that they love advertising, and 47% of them would stay and watch because they enjoy the commercial. I mean, they stay, it's a mini film, and they like it. But in half of the cases, or 50% of the cases, they would do something else. They would switch. Again, I mean, the attention problem that we have, because he's not focused. He's got some moments. And it's a moment of freedom, so he can do some other stuff. So in fact, and that will be one of the key learnings today, and I will show it in a different way later. But when you are aligned with the real daily moment, you will be more efficient as a brand discussing with your children than if you try to touch them through a media, because you're making some tops, or you're making some touch points, or you're making some hits, some number of impressions, and so on. So it's basically the fundamental of that. Okay, I'm going to show you what Peter is his. Okay, no. We are mapping the real battlefield. Ready? This is not a media plan. This is not a media plan. This is Peter's day. Okay. Peter's 3 to 14 American kids 2 weeks before Christmas. So 2025. I love it. It's beautiful. Okay, the way it works. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to understand the way it works. So we ask our respondents to tell us hour by hour, or hour slot by hour slot, because this year we introduced the possibility to also have half hours within the slot, so having 2 activities, from 7 in the morning to 10 at night, hour by hour, so roughly 105 hours a week, to tell us what they have done, day by day. Monday, Tuesday, up to Sunday. Obviously, you've got differences between Mondays and or weekdays and weekends. You've got differences between the young and the older ones. I'm not going to dispute that. But this is his day. So first, I was shocked because not so many go to school on a certain time frame. There. It's just a small proportion. So that means that it's really fragmented Some go to school, some will be out of school, then they will go back to school. They make ons and offs on the school or you've got the homeworks, you've got the extra private lessons, you've got the after-school activities, and that takes a large portion of the time. But you also have the digital activities that would be in there. I'm not going to let you discover all the colors. I just ask you to believe me on parole. It's there. You've got it. But when you want to hit someone, a kid at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, let's say through the television, you're not going to hit many persons. And as I say previously, you're not going to hit many children, and those that you will hit will have their brain taken by something else. So this is Peter's day. And playing with toys is one of the activities. And it's a good activity, by the way. It remains a very strong activity or very robust activity. Okay? So there's no single archidominant activity. There's no long, uninterrupted block of anything. A little bit of school, the yellow block that you can see. But the rest, not play, not media, you don't really see that. And obviously, you've got all the transitions between each of these activities. So this is what we name fragmentation. This is the day of... so it's very, very important that you understand that. So now that we understand the structure of the child's life, I had more text, basically, already, but I'm cutting short because I want you to get the full picture of that. But now that we understand the structure of the child's life, we want to finally talk about how brands and characters perform in it. Because the most important is how can you insert your products, how can you insert discussions or contacts in it. So again, the real question is not how much screen time, but how do I fit, or how do I play, or how do I find the right available moment of brain of Peter. Very important. And that's the moment strategy. It's about moment. Very, very important. So understanding life is just the step number one. Oops. I didn't turn the right one. I turned it on my tablet. Didn't turn. Okay. That's at the beginning I told you awful slides. This is one of the awful slides. Unfortunately, this is probably one of the most important ones. Why it matters for marketers to understand that the biggest misunderstanding in the marketing that we practice now is that technology and time, screen time, has not created these new touch points. The problem is not the technology. The problem is not the screen time. Why? Why this matters? It matters because if you observe more screen time, if you say this is the problem, they spend more time on screens, whatever the level of attention, whatever the level of focus or the state of mind, then you will buy more impression because obviously you want to make sure that you can hit more kids. You increase the frequency and you just hit. You shorten the format. You make sure that you can touch all the kids during that moment. So in fact, what you're doing is you're not dealing with the problem or the issue. You're dealing with the symptom. The symptom is that they use the screen time. And that's the difference between visibility and impact. If you understand why these new touch points exist, so why Peter is moving from one place to another place and he does screen time during that time, or while he's waiting at the dentist, he's on a mobile phone, but he's not really focused on the mobile phone because he's going to have his teeth and so on and so on. So when you understand that it's not the moment and the amount of time he spends on time, but the state of mind and that moment, you choose the right moments. You're not going to send him a very nice advertising or touch point or contact and nice story at the time he's going to get his teeth removed. So that's exactly the type of thing that you need to do. You need to choose the right moments. You adapt the tone. You reduce, obviously, the waste because you're not going to send stuff while they go on sports because they have other focus. They want to tell their life to their parents and so on and so on. So, and what you do is you really increase the pertinence and the relevance of the moment. So symptom relevance, very important. And so the algorithm, those algorithms that everybody hates, everybody is thinking that it's really the villain and something that should be killed. In fact, if you believe that screens and algorithm addict the kids to the screens, then the strategy is to fight the platform. Little bit of moralization. It's not good. We should fight the screens and so on. I mean, let me give you. I make a bracket. I take a few seconds on the presentation. I've got my oldest granddaughter. She turned 4 a few months ago. She was not exposed. Her parents, really crazy. No screen time, no screen time. She was not exposed to screens for the first 3 years. But she was going to the nanny. When she started school, at the time she started school, it happened at the time we also conduct one of those surveys that we do about brand awareness, popularity, merchandise appeal, and so on. So we asked the mother, like we do for any type of respondents, does someone want to guess how many brands she knew without being exposed to screens? No? Nobody wants to test? 200? No, that's a lot. 59. She knew 59 of the brands without having been exposed. But why? She's been, she's seen friends. She went to stores. We investigated, and she went to stores, and she's seen those. So even without the screen time, she will be in contact with those brands. So you need to make sure that you understand the real reason why the kids are in front of the brands and the moments you can touch them, because if you have the right level of discussion, the right level of emotional connection, or create the right level of emotional connection with the kids, then you win. If you just are present, you will be consumed very quickly, and then you will be dropped. So if you fight platform, moralize, chase regulations, optimize formats, so basically you're in the control again. You treat the symptom, not the reality and not the relevance. But if you understand that life fragmentation creates demand for micro engagement, then your strategy becomes that you understand the moments, you design the role, you select the tones, you respect the attention, and so you've got the right message to the kids. Very important. Okay, let's move to the next one. So, again, screens, definitely, I hope that now I convinced you it's not a destination, it's logistics. It's because it's there. I'm not disputing the fact that they might go, sit in front of Netflix or Disney Plus, and for a few hours, they might binge watch some series. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that most of their consumption on the screens, it's logistic. It's because they have some time, they can spend some time, and so they will do it. But they will multitask. They will do something different. So multitasking, 69% of the kids multitask when they use digital as the master category, as the master activity. So that doesn't mean that, or that means that, in fact, when they go at school or when they eat, or they multitask. Well, when they play with toys, it's only 48%. It's already a lot. But multitasking is not only necessarily with digital. So digital is rarely the focus, and toys obviously has a better attention. And toys is doing a little bit better, not by much, I have to say, but a little bit better than video games. Video games is the only digital activity where the kids are really focused, and they multitask less because they want to interact. 20% of the digital sessions are short bursts, but it's improving. It's not improving. It's increasing. And so it adapts micro moments, and it can discuss. And so basically, it fills the time, but it's not a place, a destination they would go. So let's sit and look at I don't know, Netflix on the mobile phone. No, it's not that. And when they use their mobile phone as the main activity, so for a long period of time, 39% of the phone multitasking is with other digital activities. So again, and the phone is a hub. Again. So, play is not losing. This comes from our system, where basically we are showing the number of kids by age or by group of age and the percentage of them that plays 1, 2, 3, 7 days a week, 6 days a week, and so on and so on. And you can see that basically, I mean, it's decreasing over time, definitely, but it's not less important and less weaker. It's still very important, including for the age group of 10 to 14 years old. It's not because the consumption is done or was done, because it's going back, for the 10 to 14, that they are not playing. Okay? Even if they spend less and less time, as you can see, age 10 to 14, they spend about 165, 160 minutes per week. So play no longer wins by default. And that's probably also one very important element, because that's really what matters in toys. You know, we used to say that toys is a market of offering. So that means that you need to have plenty of different products so you can please different tastes and different options. But the bottom line, for 54% of them, and that's very, very impressive result. I can imagine different stories. It's always different. When they go on play systems and they create stories, that's where the toys are winning, whether it's battery operated, electronics or not. It's really about creating stories. So we'll see maybe later, if I've got the time, we'll see how this relates to the digital time and screen. But they can play everywhere. You remember? He's commuting from parents A to parent B, so he can play everywhere. That's also something that you need to take into consideration. He can play also with other people, because he will play with his half-brothers and sisters or friends in one house, friends in the other house, and maybe also brothers and sisters. But play alone is also something that he fancy. And again, I can imagine my own story, creating everything from scratch. So again, creating these stories is very important to them. So just that one, I'll go very quick on that one, because I want to address the elephant in the room. Okay, electronic toys are not competing with non-electronic or non-battery operated toys. They just serve different purposes. Okay, and most of the sales in the toy market, you can ask my friends at Circana, most of the sales in the toy market are non-battery operated toys. So, okay, digital is good. It's a portion of the assortment, a portion of the offering. But again, I mean, you need to keep in mind that you need to address that at the right moment, because digital shortens the time. It creates addiction. They are driven by the activity, and so they focus on something else. They don't create stories. While when they have nothing, when it's a block of wood, like the Kaplas, for instance, I mean, they have to create their universe and so on. Okay. That one is also interesting. Toys and video games are not yet competing. So stop saying that. I probably have spent my last 30 years, you can see from my hair, I spent my last 40 years saying that video games were not competing with toys. And I stand by it. At the very beginning, like in the 90s and 2000, they were absolutely not competing in the same household. That was not the same consumers. Fathers on one side, or all teenagers, very young kids on the other side. So they were not competing. But they had this idea that technology and screen was fancier than just the toys. And so people believed that. No, it was not true. There, what you can see is that the percentage of people that play 6-7 days, light blue video games, dark blue toys. And so you can see that it's pretty much the same. They are in parallel. They offer parallel sessions. Okay? Maybe one day they will become competitor if we don't do the right things, but at the end of the day, they are not competing at all. And just going back to video games, very important. Video games, the reason why people or children go back to video games is because they have the control of their game. And so they have a reason to go back to the game. Think about that when you develop your play systems as well. Okay, and the phone fill the gaps. Again, phone, 53% of the kids 10 to 14 have a personal smartphone. In fact, I mean, it's a little bit more. But in the household, I mean, it's almost 100%. But look at 34% of the 3 to 6 have a mobile phone. And if you don't believe it, I can show you plenty of photos of kids, even younger than that, playing with mobile phones and their mobile phones. Again, the nanny effect. Oops. So the toy industry is not competing with screens, it's competing with fragmentation. And they have pocket money. And the kids, they have pocket money. 74% receive pocket money, occasionally or regularly. And most of the time, I mean, what they want to do with this pocket money, they want to learn, save. They don't spend rubbishes. My child buys rubbishes with pocket money, disagree, and so on. They try to use and make a good use of the pocket money. So again, education, still in the learning and the education side. And very important, the famous Pester power, or whatever you want to call it. At Christmas, the kids controls the checkout. Okay, I'm going to go very quick because I've got 2 minutes and 30 minutes. This is one of these awful slides, but this is, once you have a toy, you create a brand. Once you create the brand, then you will connect with the kids. So let me make it very, very quick. You've got the kids, they discover, they want, then after they replay with the toys and so on. And then after they will talk about that. While at the same time, they also check with their parents about the fact they can get it, they can spend it, or they can be purchased, and then purchased again. And we measure all of that. So just so you know, it's a very statistical process. 74 of the toys and games are purchased, or not, they are not purchased. 74% of the parents would purchase a toy and game with a character, licensing character on it. And this is how you can predict the sales of the brand on a toy. Awareness, they know the brand. Affinity, they love the brand, so they emotionally connect. If they emotionally connect, that means that they have the time to understand what the brand stands for, and so they have the emotional moment available, and then that will convert into that's calculated into a popularity index, and that converts into purchase intentions. I show you this one just for the record, because that's spontaneous answers, so it mixes corporate, top brands, character brands, and so on. It's all mentioned. It's very different from one country to another country. But what we know, I'm going to conclude, I will be on time. I'm going to conclude what we have learned so far. Childhood is structurally fragmented. I hope that I convinced you. Attention is selective and moment-based because you don't have the same attention depending on the cars or the dentist and so on. The formats serve the states, but they don't replace each other. So that means that you need to use these moments and these micro moments to touch the kids. If you touch them at the right moment with the right message, then you will win. If you touch them at a moment where they're absolutely not focused and so on, you will lose. Brand gives permission and product proves value. So at the end of the day, that's the way it works. And the moment fits, decides the performance. And my last one. This is the big directions, but more to go on the webinar that will be in 1 month. Design for life moments, not categories. So forget. No, I'm not going to say that because I will be killed and I won't be able to get out. But you have to think. You have to think not in industrials, but what your toys are going to achieve. You need to reduce friction to earn short plays windows, orchestrate traditional and electronic play roles, use the brands to open the doors, and licensing brands, entertainment brands is a good way to get there, and obviously use data to focus and not overextend. I mean, obviously I pray for from my church, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's very important to understand. Thank you very much.